Okay, we have started the recording. Yes.
Thank you. Sir, over to you. Sir, you are on mute. Sir, you are on mute.
Uday sir, you're on mute. We can't hear you, unfortunately. Can you hear me? Mr. Garg?
You are very audible, Pallavi.
Okay.
Like always.
Thank you.
It is always a pleasure to listen from you because the kind of expertise and the knowledge which you have, I think it's going to create lots of buzz. Maybe many of the members are not joining us today, but I have already got a feedback about your session wherein people were telling to me that it is a correct choice to have Miss Pallavi on the dais today because that is very important for all of us to know and learn about it.
But we
And
are not seeing them anywhere.
you are very famous, by the way.
Acha. Nee, I did get a lot of feedback on my LinkedIn handle too, waiting and looking forward. I think one of the reasons could be that this is a posh season and everybody wants to hear about posh now, not diversity. So
Next section.
that could be one of the reasons I feel. So
So
let's
people join also, Pallavi. Maybe
yeah, yeah.
15, 20 minutes late, they will join. But
No worries, no worries. We can start, but yeah,
we always get
it's
around
yeah,
30 to 40 people who
yeah,
always
yeah.
session.
Uh,
So maybe slowly and gradually they will start joining. You know our Indian time standard. So
yes, yes. People have started joining. Okay.
yes.
So should I start? Should I maybe you can
Ghat
share
sir,
the screen? Yeah.
okay,
Yes,
Ghat
yeah,
sir.
yeah, he's there.
Okay.
Okay.
So before we start the session, it is my pride and privilege. First and foremost, without taking much time, it's our pride and privilege to welcome our today's guest of honor is Miss Pallavi Sankhe. She doesn't need an introduction. She's always there. We are understanding and knowing about it. But ISTD Mumbai chapter will be very happy to give a brief introduction about the madam, and then we will request madam to start the session. Ghak sir, if you are able to talk because you are unmute, so if
No.
so sir is already breaking the biases.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So very quickly for the audience, I would like to introduce our today's guest of honor. Pallavi Sankhe is a POSH and DEI specialist, corporate trainer, and founder of Curious Catalyst. Uh, this is a corporate training house and implementation partner of DEI Toolkit for India Diversity Forum. She has more than 20 plus years of experience and trained more than 25,000 plus professionals across India on POSH, behavioral skills, and inclusive leadership. Her session, those who have already attended knows this. It is a blend of storytelling, real cases, humor, and deep insights to make complex topic very easy, relatable, and actionable. Today, the topic on which she is going to address is breaking biases, building fair and inclusive workplaces. I am hope that the way I am very excited to listen to ma'am is everyone resonate with the same kind of thoughts, feeling, and emotions. Over to you, Pallavi, to start the session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kavita. See, it's a real honor being here. ISTD is, of course, India's most premium training uh, know, faculties, and to be talking to them, to be listening to them, and also to understand their viewpoint would be I think would be a great. It'll be a great pleasure for me. And Kavita ji, आपके बारे में तो क्या कहना? Yeah. By the way, let me inform you that last year we started DEI Munch, and Kavita Pandey and Anubha Singhal were the first two people that we invited because she has done so much work in disability inclusion herself. Okay. I feel that she is not really taking ample credit for the the kind of stuff that she's been doing, and this despite a full-time work that she's been doing. I feel that we should all hats off to you, Kavita ji. Yeah. So it's my pleasure knowing you. Yeah. And I'll just see if if in the ISTD group I can share. I should have kept that link ready. Actually, we could have easily shared that link, and there were like so many things that we discussed, right? I still remember that 15-minute session. So many insights in that 15-minute session. I'll be sharing it with you, and you can share it with the ISTD fraternity. Okay. Having said that, let us just start the session. Let me share the.
Pallavi, kindly on the recording if it is possible.
I have started the recording. Achha, by
Oh,
the way, for you all, let me inform you that we are recording this session. ISTD is recording this session, and this is we are informing you. This is as per the DPDP Act 2023. Okay, we need your consent. So I presume you have given us the consent, and now let us just start. Let me share slide. So can you see the full screen now, everybody? Is full screen visible?
yes.
But I cannot see the participants. So just a minute. Let me just. Yeah, I can see everybody now. Okay, so without much further ado, since we are already around 15 minutes late, let us just start the session. So welcome all of you to this session on breaking biases, building fair and inclusive workplaces. So what is it that we're going to look at today? We're going to talk about unconscious biases. We're also going to talk about we're going to hint about a little bit about disability bias also. We're going to talk about microaggressions and also about allyship. How is it that you can be ally? A few more words about myself. So I'm BE in Instrumentation and MBA in Finance from Pune University. I'm also founder POSH Safe Workplaces and Curious Catalyst. I'm a certified POSH trainer and also a DEI trainer and an expert. I have done my Diversity and Inclusion certificate from University of Pittsburgh. I'm also a master trainer in soft skills and public speaking, and also a keynote speaker at number of forums. In fact, last 2 years, in fact, last whole year, I have spoken about AI surprisingly, and also AI and DEI. If you I have a newsletter in LinkedIn called Breaking Barriers, and in fact this Wednesday only I have spoken about unconscious biases in AI. If possible, please go ahead and look into that article. Okay. We are also implementation partners of India Diversity Forum's DEI Toolkit. So having said so, let me just go ahead. I think this is going to be a session in which I will be needing some interaction. I am not looking forward to speaking for 45 minutes and going on and ad nauseum. Okay, so few questions here and there, and some stories from my side, some stories from your side would be great. Starting this session, there's this very beautiful and famous quote by Sardar Vallabhbhai. He said, yes, Uday ji. So there was this beautiful quote by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, which says, little pools of water tend to become stagnant and useless. But if they are joined together to form a big lake, the atmosphere is cooled and there is universal benefit. I think we in Mumbai very well know what stagnant water can cause, right? We have mosquitoes everywhere. So lack of diversity, there are a lot of makhi and machhar. Basically, there will be a lot of dengue and malaria going on. Stagnant, Kupamanduk, that is what we become. But then if नदी मिले नदी क्या ताल मिले नदी के जल को और नदी मिले सागर को क्या होता है यूनिवर्सल बेनिफिट सब जगह ठंडक छा जाती है राइट so before starting on unconscious bias let me just quickly skim now skim about three important things. We've heard about D, E, and I. So what is D? D would be diversity, E would be equity, and I would be inclusion. I'd like to ask you all a question. What is our current population now? People.
India?
Yeah, in India, in India.
1.4
1.4
billion.
1.4 billion. That is what we are, the most populous country, aren't we not? Yeah. So how many states are we? So when I was in school, the number of states were fewer.
Yes.
Yeah, but then the geography keeps on changing. So any idea? Can anyone tell me what is the total number of states that we have now?
29?
No, we had 28. Okay.
28.
Yeah. And the number of union territories are 8.
Yeah.
Any idea what is the total number of languages and dialects? That would not even be actually a real total. Mota, approximately. Total number of languages and dialects that we have in our beautiful and diverse country.
300.
300 is good. It is 700 actually.
Oh.
I know, it's amazing. In fact, I speak a dialect which I understand sometimes. I mean, that is my native dialect for which there is no script. I sometimes understand it. Most of it goes right over the top because we don't live there, right? But then our old people can still speak the language very well. That particular dialect, not very easy to understand. So, what is diversity? See, diversity is simply having a workforce that reflects the diversity of our magnificent country. 140 billion people, 140 billion customers and stakeholders that most organizations serve. You look at, say, L&T. I'm just taking some names from Nifty 50. You look at HUL. You look at Reliance. Yeah, I would say that 140 billion is their customer audience, right? It is their target audience. So I would again like to ask a question. You've been in the industry, all of you, for so many years. Say, I am X company and I have 100 people in my company. Only 100, not too many. 100 people. Yeah? So tell me, in your company, what is the percentage of disabled people? 100 में से कितने लोग हैं जो disabled होंगे आपके company में? Or as per your experience, if not a company. Would anybody like to know? Tell me. आपको क्या लगता है? On an average in India, out of 100 people, what is the percentage of people who should be disabled?
Maybe 1 or 2%, what I feel.
There are 2.5% people who are disabled. So technically, yes, around 3 people in every 100 should be there. If you have a workforce of 100, 3 people should be disabled. Acha, now 15% on an average are belonging to LGBTQIA category. Now these figures are, I do not know the actual Indian figure because LGBTQIA is especially thorny territory. People are not honest, people don't come out. We are a deeply homophobic country. So that's a global average and we are not behind the globe in any which way. So I would say, again, 15 people would be belonging to LGBTQIA spectrum. So, do we see 15 out of 100 people who belong to that? I mean, have you come across out of 100 people, say 15 people belong to this category? Have you come across this situation? Openly.
Hardly one person, I guess,
Hardly 1%, right? And that person will also be thinking twice. Should I come out? Should I not? Should I come out? Should I not? Right? That is it. And what about women? 50% of the population, 70 billion women. Do you think out of 150 are women? Again, no. And when I talk about diversity, it is not just these three. There's a huge intersection of caste, religion, language, region, socio-economic status. So diversity, when it comes to India, is huge. We are see, we should write this essay, right? When we were children, unity and diversity. There's a reason we should write it. The कारण था कुछ तो भी बिना कारण के हम नहीं लिखते थे. So diversity in our country is huge. It is just that it doesn't get reflected in the workforce. Again, let me look at this. A trans person. This particular question I'd like to ask you: Has any of you seen an all-women CXO team in India? क्या किसी ने देखा है all-women CXO team?
No.
So there's this question that I ask in all my sessions. How many women do you think are there? How many women CEOs in Nifty 50? Things have changed little bit in this few months back, but take a wild guess.
Maybe 5-7%.
So say Nifty 50, you were saying that maybe 3-4, at least 4-5 women are there, right?
Yeah, around.
CEOs. Yeah. So let me burst the bubble. There are actually there's only one person for last 3 years. I used to ask this question, and Vibha Padalkar was the only name I used to get, who's the CEO of HDFC Life. But now Priya Nair, who's the CEO of HUL, has joined in. And Nifty 100, there are 3 women, right? So these are some amazing facts about us. So all women CXO team, pata nahi, maybe in my lifetime, I don't know if it happens. And what would equity be? And then they have written 2 words here: equality, equity. We saw what is diversity. Diversity is huge. What is equity? Equity would actually be making sure that everybody gets same kind of resources, or rather resources as per their abilities, as per their need to shine, to make the most of the opportunities that they are getting. As you can look at the picture itself, yeah. So, according to equality, they were just given same size footstools, and they were not able to do the best. They were not able to reach the fruits. But then, as per their height, when they were given the footstools, they have reached the fruits. Yeah. Simple thing. Simple difference between equity and equality. And then there's inclusion. Yes, there is diversity. I have made sure that as an organization, I have made sure that 15 people are LGBTQIA, 2 people, at least 3 people are disabled, 50 women, yeah, across these intersections. I've done that. I've hired people. Do they feel included? The inclusion is very important, right? Nina, do you have a question? I'll be taking questions at the end, or maybe you could type it in the chat box. Yeah. So, inclusion would basically be ensuring that everybody feels welcome and valued and comfortable speaking up. Yeah. Innovating, being themselves. Inclusion is all about being yourself. I want you to take a look at some pictures. And I want you to tell me what is going on in your mind, or if you don't want to share also, that is perfectly fine. And I want you to do that very quickly, because we're going on to a topic which is about quickness, or thinking fast. When you're looking at this picture, what is it that is coming onto your mind? Or let me ask you a even more simpler question. Would you like to work alongside him? Yes, no. Yes, Matthew, Uday ji, Kavita, Shaktivel ji, Amit ji, Pradeep ji, Anil ji.
थोड़ा intimidating लगेगा, but okay. It depends which sector you are working with him.
Which sector you are working with him? Office में क्या सोच रहे हैं? ऑफिस है, ये हमारे पास में बैठते हैं, ड्वेन जॉनसन जैसे दिखते हैं, लेकिन पूरे टैटूड है भाई.
Yeah.
हाँ, थोड़ा डर तो लगेगा. यहाँ पे मैं एक छोटा स्टोरी सुनाती हूँ. So there was, see, I have lived in many countries and I have lived in many places in India. And I do a lot of observation. Of course, I do a lot of reading, but मैं observe भी बहुत करती हूँ. लेकिन ये इससे पहले की बात है जब मुझे ये सारी चीजें पता नहीं थी. I had no idea what was DEI and all these things. ये सब मुझे कुछ पता नहीं था. All these things I did not know. So, so there was, I was waiting for a bus at 5:30 in the afternoon, and since this was UK, it was already pitch dark. There was absolutely nobody on the street, and then there's a gentleman who came, was tattooed, and basically this person is right from the person that I saw, very similar. And only thing is he was wearing a hat, and he was, pacing. And I saw one look at him, and I was like, my God, who's this person? And I was scared. And let me tell you, it takes a lot to scare me. मुझे जल्दी डर नहीं लगता. मुझे भूतों से भी डर नहीं लगता. लेकिन ये भूत नहीं थे. He was a real person, not fictional, but a real person right there, a huge tattooed, pacing right there. And I was shit scared, let me tell you. And then in around 5 minutes, a bus glides in. A woman gets down. She's an Indian woman, and this guy is an Indian man. And well, they smile at each other. They did not acknowledge me even once. Did not say hello to me or anything, or reduce my anxiety. And they just went away. So appearances only, and I was scared. What about her? What are you thinking about her when you see her? Don't worry, I'm a POSH expert, but you will not be going in the dock for it. Yeah. No thoughts?
Uh,
Hmm.
yeah. Maybe like, someone who wants to live the way she wants to live, like that. She's not bothered with the society thing.
Okay, she's in the HR. Now, what are your thoughts?
Uh,
Thoughts are not that charitable, right? So next. Okay. What about her? What are your thoughts? Acha, by the way, to make this image, I asked Gemini that please give me an image of a smartly dressed woman from Northeast India. Person that Gemini just wouldn't oblige. You know what prompt I gave? Can you guess to get this image? I gave the prompt that please give me a picture of a Chinese woman dressed smartly. so well, AI is also biased. Okay, so AI का भी bias है अपना. So again, number of thoughts come into our mind when we see people who don't look like us, right? How about this gentleman? Would you like to work alongside him? And
Remember Sanjay Dutt Vastav?
yes, very very reminiscent. But yeah, but I met a very similar gentleman, and okay, he did not wear so much jewelry. But the reason I'm telling this is I met a similar gentleman, and he was one of the heads of very important commercial chambers. Yeah, and the man was simply amazing. Beyond that first look, incredibly intelligent, incredibly well spoken, well read. And yes, the accent was there. If you go beyond the accent, so though he looked rustic, but the first impression, see, I teach about unconscious bias, but the first thought that came to my mind was, again, the thoughts were not that charitable, let me tell you. Okay, despite being aware of my biases. So basically, biases are stories we make up about people before we know who they actually are. We don't know about them. We're just thinking about, ha, ye aisa hai, ha, waisa hai, just by looking at them. And why is it that we do that? You see, our brain is hardwired to do shortcuts. And why is it that it is hardwired to do shortcuts? Very simply, we get bombarded by 11 million pieces of information every second. Do you think that if our brain processes that kind of information will we be able to do anything in our lives? Whole day probably we'll just be thinking about khana kya khana hai aur khana kya banana hai. Yeah, we'll not be able to run our lives. So we can process very few of them, and brain automates 99% decisions. So shortcuts. But then what happens when you take these shortcuts? What happens is that, see, we have a prefrontal cortex here, and this prefrontal cortex is basically your lizard brain. Yeah, it is a brain which is an ancient brain. It is our caveman brain or cave woman brain. तो ये एक बहुत पुराना old brain है, which is there, and it has this fight and flight record in it. It is fixed. So we feel this fear, this anxiety, etc., anger. ये सब यहाँ से आता है prefrontal cortex. So now how is it that it works? It has this program in it. It is us versus them. What is us? Us would be say I'm an Indian, I'm a woman, I have certain demographics. So when I meet people who don't look like me, who are different, my brain falls back here. It goes to this lizard brain. It immediately starts sorting. So shortcut bhi to marna hai na. सोचना भी है. Decisions need to be taken fast. And why does the decision needs to be taken fast? There's a reason for that. Okay, let me ask you another question here. What is it that we look at? See, when you meet a person for the first time in person, what is it that you are looking at? आपको क्या लगता है? आप कौन से body part को first देख रहे हैं? Any guesses? What is it that you look at? You're meeting a person for the first time. What is it that you look at? Any guesses?
Face.
Yes, face. Any other ideas? Kavita ji, what do you think? Neena? Anil? क्या देखते हैं हम जब हम किसी को फर्स्ट टाइम मिलते हैं? एक ने मुझे बोला था शूज देखते हैं करके.
Eyes. We see the eyes of the person.
Eyes, yes. Kavita says that we see eyes. Yes, but let me tell you, this is what you are thinking and saying. But your brain subconsciously and unconsciously is looking at the hands. सबसे पहले हम लोगों के हाथ देखते हैं. क्यों हाथ देखेंगे? Again, this is hard coded in us. So see, when you're meeting the person for the first time, your brain is still that caveman jamana. What is that? What is the brain saying? Pallavi from Vashi tribe, going to a meeting, Kavita Pandey and Santa Cruz tribe. अलग ट्राइब है, हम इसको नहीं जानते. पहले मैं कविता के हाथ देखूंगी. क्यों देखूंगी कविता के हाथ? क्योंकि कविता के हाथ में पत्थर हो सकता है, कविता के हाथ में स्पीयर हो सकता है, कविता के हाथ में कुछ भी हो सकता है. कविता मुझे मार डाल सकती है. शी इज नॉट फ्रॉम माई ट्राइब. वेरी सिंपल. See, before Homo sapiens, we are all Homo sapiens. There were Neanderthal men and women. Neanderthals they were called. Do you know how they became extinct? They were all killed by Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens लोगों ने Neanderthal लोगों को मार डाला. सबसे पहले Homo sapiens हाथ ही देखते हैं. हाथ देखेंगे तो उनको मालूम पड़ता है कि हाँ safe है, unsafe है. So this experiment was created and was done to see how is it that the brain functions if the person is keeping the hands behind. हाथ पीछे रखे हैं तो सामने वाला क्या सोचता है? तो हम बहुत बेचैन हो जाते हैं. We want to know what is there in the hands. जब वो हाथ आगे आएंगे ना तभी दिन को चैन पड़ता है. हाथ में कुछ नहीं है. This unconscious brain, this is how it works. So all the time it is looking at male, female, educated, uneducated, apples, oranges. So when people are not like us, we immediately feel that खतरे की घंटी बज जाती है. And then that is what causes these biases, unconscious biases. Man with a tattoo, very scary. Because one reason is of course that अच्छा ये unconscious bias आते कहाँ से? Are we born with them? We are not born with them, let me tell you. They come because of our upbringing, the way we are brought up. So when we are born, total brain is completely empty slate. Then who are the first people to put biases? Family. So this beauty bias, Gora Kala bias, immediately starts from the family. And the kind of, also the kind of content that they watch, one. Second is, when they go to school, another layer of bias starts forming. kind of experience that they have, how you talk, how your teachers react to you, how they behave with you. Third would be again the content that you watch, movies, OTT, web content. ये सब matter करता है. And by the time you are of a certain age, your thoughts are quite set. Your biases are set. So when you reach my age, 51, 50 साल का bias ठूस के भरा हुआ है. Not easy to remove it. But then we need to know what they are. Once you know, self-awareness is the key. Once you know what it is, that's when you can get rid of it. What are these biases? Let's take a look at them. Number one would be affinity bias. Now, what is affinity bias? Affinity bias is simple. It is, you have an instinct to lean towards people who are like you. So if a person is, say, from your school, from your college, from your society, even from Vashi for that matter. If the moment I know people are from Vashi, I'm like, Navi Mumbai, great, immediate affinity. Or it could be, you might have similar hobbies. Oh, I swim. Do you also swim? Hey, affinity. Same caste, great affinity. Same religion, amazing affinity. If you're a migrant coming from a certain place, say both of you are from Kerala, immediate affinity. So affinity, and then you would say, what is wrong in it? Affinity hai to kya ho gaya? What is wrong with liking people who are like us? See, it has a great impact on hiring. So you end up hiring people who are like us. Yeah. You end up creating groups in an organization. Then there's an in group, which is like people like you, they're your people whom you think culturally similar to us. So that is the in group. Then kya hota hai? Then there's an out group, obviously, right? And then, as you know, great toxicity in the organization is created. Very simply, all the promotions, all the plum projects, etc., would go to in-group people, right? They would not go to people out of the group. So affinity bias is number one bias is what I feel when it comes to unconscious biases. Now take a look at this. Along with these biases, there is also something called as a perception bias. Now, perception biases, they cause stereotypes. Kis tarah ke stereotypes? So one could be gender bias. You see the women here. Could be religion bias. We have 4 or 5 major religions in our country. Most of them at loggerheads with each other. Bahut bias hai. You have regional bias. So you would have bias. There might be bias against people from, say, Tamil Nadu. Tamil people might be having a bias against North Indians. Say, people from Punjab. Yeah. Punjabi people might call everybody, all South Indians, as only South Indians. They are not aware that there are 5 different states. Similarly, all South Indians would think that North Indians, anybody up of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana is a North Indian. Okay. And then how many states? Who knows and who cares? Everybody's Punjabi there. They all eat chicken, mutton. That is the thought. Okay. In fact, I came to know just few years back that most Punjabis are vegetarians. So these are the kind of perception and stereotypes that we have. Then you have this height bias. So let me tell you, most people in the world, most of the CEOs are more than 6 feet tall worldwide. So solid height bias you can see here. There's a weight bias. It has been found that women, especially women, slimmer women get a better pay than women who are a little more on the larger size. Yeah. Same doesn't apply to men, by the way. And then there's disability bias. And then there's age bias. And then we have these multi-generational, workforce, future of workforce. By the way, we also provide trainings on them. And multi-generational workforce is something which is getting a lot of traction these days, especially even in POSH for that matter. So that maybe later we can discuss. But disability bias is something which is, considering that we are supposed to be empathetic people, it is very unusual that we have this bias. मुझे समझ नहीं आता ये bias क्या है. So perception biases, we saw loads of biases: beauty biases, gender bias, age bias, height, weight. And then one bias I have not mentioned here, which cannot be seen in the picture, is a caste bias and the religion bias. We don't talk about it, very much there. Jati nahi hai, wo jaat hai. Then we have beauty bias. I will not be spending too much time on it, very obviously, because I don't need to tell Indians that we have this huge love and affection for people who are fair, right? So we are a nation, 140 billion, out of which 80% people are dark, and even fair people who actually, when they go abroad or they go to Western Hemisphere, people will consider them dark, but वो अपने आप को गोरा ही समझते हैं और गोरे साहब जैसा ही behave करते हैं, looking down upon everybody who is proud and little below around, So beauty bias is huge in our country. And I don't know, really, I don't know how many years it's going to take to cure this bias, to be honest. So let's look at disability bias, because we're going to talk a little more about disability bias today. What with 3rd December was the International Disability Day, right? And also because we as a country definitely lag behind when it comes to disability accommodation. So what is the bias that we have? So one is, we personally feel that they are less capable, that they will not be able to manage. Maybe because of their disabilities, they are not able to comprehend or understand or learn new things. Obviously, then they are less productive. And then you can't even shout at them, they are disabled. So they are a burden on the system. You have to manage them all the time. And then we have to give them so much sympathy. They just cannot do mainstream roles. Just the other day, I had gone to this very large international organization where they proudly told me that in their team of 1,700 people, they had 4 people with disability in their head office only, and one of them was a receptionist. This should give you some idea about the kind of roles we think disabled people would fit in. Now, let me tell you, disability is the only thing which comes under this DEI spectrum, wherein everybody, even if you are the best person, very high caste, high religion, or whatever that is, you're very fair, you're extremely intelligent, you have got everything that God can give you to give you that position of power and privilege you have. But then we are also international road capital, accident capital of the world, right? So 3 lakh people die every year in road accidents. Many of them also become disabled. Data you don't know. So we might be in this position of power and privilege. There is amazingly able people looking down upon all these disabled people. यही सोच के कि इन्होंने कुछ पुराने जन्म के पाप किए रहेंगे इसीलिए डिसेबल्ड है. And one fine day we find ourselves having going through one of these accidents, and then we are disabled. So this is something that can happen to you anytime in India. And despite that, there is so much apathy, so much bias. In fact, we should be making sure that life is good and easy, but instead of that, things are just not happening, to be very honest. So we'll look at it a little more detail a little later. And then you have halo effect. Again, halo effect is effect which is caused by first time impression. So first time, when we were children, our parents always told us that, अरे अच्छे से चमक के जाना, अच्छे कपड़े पहन के जाना, first impression is the last impression. Let me tell you, for most brains, that is so. Even now, first impressions are the last impressions. And this halo effect, it keeps on, it doesn't go away. It takes a lot to wear it off, these first impressions. And then the bias is caused because of those first impressions. The first impression अगर अच्छा नहीं हुआ तो फिर वो हॉर्न्स इफेक्ट हो जाता है. क्या होता है हॉर्न्स इफेक्ट? मैंने इसमें दिया नहीं है, but Horn's effect is the exact opposite of halo effect. Then you just don't like anything that the person does. So Horn's effect, halo effect. And then you have this groupthink bias. Now, what is this groupthink bias? Groupthink bias is one of my favorite biases in India. तो कहते हैं चमचागिरी bias. तो इंडिया में क्या होता है कि we have this great difference towards people who are higher, right? You don't want to ask them questions. You don't want to debate. Everything that they say is yes, yes, yes. Also, because we do not have any debating culture in our country, when you ask questions as children, your parents don't like it. When you ask questions to our teachers, they don't like it. So at very young age, we are told do not question, just agree. जो बोल रहे हैं, हाँ बोलो. सबकी भलाई उसी में है. तो एक वो होता है कि भाई डिबेट ना करो, हाँ बोलो. सेकेंड होता है कि बिकॉज ऑफ एफिनिटी बायस एवरीबडी इज लाइक यू ऑल लाइक क्लोन्स. सो जो मीटिंग में बैठे हैं सारे एक दूसरे के क्लोन हैं. सारे एक दूसरे जैसे दिखते हैं, एक दूसरे के कॉलेज से आते हैं, एक जैसे कास्ट टाइप होंगे. सो basically a lot of cloning is there. That is what has been observed worldwide. The board of directors or CXO teams. So basically, there's a lot of cloning. They're like all very close to each other. Then there's got a lot of groupthink bias which happens. Everybody agrees with each other. Then how is it good for the organization? Because a lot of bad decisions will be, taken here because nobody is disagreeing. Correct? So it is a horrible bias which has taken root. And then you have confirmation bias. Now, see, this bias we talk a lot about in our IC trainings that we conduct for POSH. What is the connection you say? See, POSH is an inclusionary measure. All of you would be knowing that. Yeah. And confirmation bias is opposite of principle of natural justice. When confirmation bias, what happens is that you already said, इस बंदे को हायर नहीं करना है, whatever reason XYZ, मुझे नहीं अच्छा नहीं लगा, मुझे नहीं हायर करना है, तो आप नहीं करोगे क्योंकि you will keep on finding reasons to not hire that person. Or let me give you another example. You may think that you read somewhere that vitamin C is will stop you from getting cold, from getting that cold and cough and wheezes that you'll be having. You think, हाँ ये इनको पढ़ के अच्छा लगा, मुझे लग रहा है शायद ऐसा होगा. And then I'll look at 10 more websites I'll go to just to find out कि ये सच है कि नहीं. And the questions that I will be giving the website will be benefits of vitamin C on my cold. And then you will be getting similar answers. ये होता है confirmation bias. I want to confirm what I think is correct. Then there is no objectivity here. Bias. Yeah. Okay. So now you've seen all these biases, right? All these unconscious biases, why you get them. What is the impact of this bias? See the impact of the bias. Let us not even look at a long term or organizational huge बड़ा impact भी देखेंगे, छोटा impact देखेंगे that you see even in everyday life. These are microaggressions, not बड़ा aggressions. कोई चाकू लेके नहीं घूम रहा है. In microaggressions are like those small cuts which irritate and hurt. But over the time they build up. So क्या होते हैं microaggressions? If you remember, there were these Farsi jokes which used to get made, Bawa jokes, Sardar jokes, Santa Banta jokes. In fact, Sardars went to the court and the court said, no more Santa Banta jokes. They are hurtful, right? These are microaggressions. So if you look at some of these statements, like, you won't understand, it is too technical. Whom do you think these kind of words get spoken to? Any guesses? किसके अगेंस्ट हो, मतलब किसको बोला जा रहा है? एनी गेसेस? अरे सब लोग सो गए क्या? मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कोई नहीं है. एवरीबडी?
Sorry, I got a call.
So I just asked a question. If you look at this, you won't understand. It is too technical for you.
No, it's going very well.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest,
It's going really well.
I'm not used to so much sannata in my sessions, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to check. So if you look at this, so you won't understand. It is too technical for you. Whom do you think this could be directed at?
On the chat box, you are getting some responses, Pallavi.
Chat box, I'm not seeing. If you could just, see, we are only 13 people, you could just unmute and speak to me. I much prefer, voices than chat box.
I request attendees to kindly unmute and talk to Pallavi ma'am.
Yeah, please do, yeah. Okay. So basically, this is directed at women. Many times, women are looked upon as people who don't understand technology, Or look at this. This is the very hysterical. Why have been hysterical? This is one of those days. Or there are women in financial sectors who have come across their colleagues telling them कि थोड़ा बादाम खा लो तुमको शायद brain fog हो रहा है, बड़ा menopause चल रहा है क्या? Yeah, microaggressions. और अरे वो इडली वड़ा को कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है, वो सिर्फ अड्डू गुड्डू बोलता है. ये तो मुझे डिटेल में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, right? You all know what who this is directed towards. So we very casually use these words. We इडली वड़ा या लिट्टी चोखा या अरे वो बम्बई का बाबू, अरे वो दिल्ली वाली, अरे पंजाबन. We don't think twice. That Baba ji. Women also have so many different things that get spoken to them on their face behind. Or just the other day, in one of the, not the sessions, but we had a CXO session in which there was a huge debate on why would you want LGBTQIA people in the organization, especially the T people, the transgenders. क्या जरूरत है? And the I people. The person did not know difference between T and I had to explain transgenders and intersex. क्या क्या जरूरत है उनका आने का? वो तो बहुत गुस्सा आता है मुझे देख के, मुझे घिन आती है. I can't bear the thought of one of them in the office. वो इतने हट्टे कट्टे होते हैं, पढ़ते लिखते क्यों नहीं है? अरे do you know the social reality? They were not even considered citizens, and no citizenship benefits till 2013, 14. Things were so bad. So before making any kind of statements, please put yourself in their shoes. So microaggressions, death by 1,000 cuts. छोटा छोटा चीज है, सुन सुना के लोग परेशान हो जाते हैं. Just look at how what kind of microaggressions usually come along the way of PWDs, people with disabilities. See, I call them people with disabilities. I do not call them specially able people because that is what they would themselves like to be called as. They say there is nothing Divyang about us. We face a lot of problems, a lot of issues. By calling us Divyang and specially abled, just special kind of valor is getting created. कि हम में कुछ स्पेशल है, हम में कुछ स्पेशल नहीं, हम बहुत स्ट्रगल करते हैं. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड कि हम बहुत स्ट्रगल करते हैं. And some empathy would go great. तो लोग क्या बोलते हैं? Many times people call them diversity candidate. अरे वो तो diversity candidate है. Or if they ask for reasonable accommodation, they are like, oh, क्या इतना difficult है, इसलिए इन लोग को hire नहीं करना चाहिए, बहुत तकलीफ है. Or they might even ask them, what condition are you afflicted with? Or basically you avoid interaction because समझ ही नहीं आता क्या बात करें, आसान नहीं है बात करना. So there are some people who are at the other side of the extremes. They go out of their way to help them, even when they don't need it, because they want to feel good. Or there are some people who keep on staring at them as if कुछ अजूबा आया है. And then there are people who actually think that that I'll tell you a story rather than expressing. It's easier to tell a story. So there's this character called Shrikant Bolla. I don't know whether you know about Shrikant Bolla. Anybody knows here about Shrikant Bolla of Bolart Industries?
Yes,
Very big name. Yeah. So people presume that if Shrikant Bolla can do it, he's fully blind. आप क्यों नहीं कर सकते? ये बहुत ही कॉमन थॉट, बहुत ही कॉमन क्वेश्चन है. बोलते वो उसको तो कुछ चीज का जरूरत नहीं पड़ा, वो तो उसके लिए कुछ आप इक्विटी की बात क्या करते हो सब हमेशा. वो देखो इक्वालिटी की बात करो, श्रीकांत बोला को देखो श्रीकांत बोला इज fully blind man, 100% blindness from childhood, poor man, extremely brilliant, a very high IQ, and that very high IQ and the fact that he got some really good people, really great allies to help him, got him to MIT. He could not attend IIT because exam nahi de sakte the JEE. No coaching center was ready to take him. For giving that 10th standard exam, he had to fight with that SSC board of Andhra Pradesh. 11, 12, he was not allowed to take science. So he had to fight again with the HSC board of आंध्र प्रदेश. इतना उनको झगड़ा करना पड़ा just to give 11th-12th का exam. Then he went to MIT and then he decided to come back and start Boland Industries. They are like, वो कर सकते हैं तुम क्यों नहीं कर सकते? तो फिर भैया ये सोचने की बात है कि कोई एवरेज नाम का चीज होता नहीं है क्या? फिर मैं भी तो ये बोल सकती हूँ ना कि भाई तुम ये क्यों नहीं हो, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट के जो फाउंडर्स है वैसे तुम क्यों नहीं हो, तुम सत्या नाडेला क्यों नहीं हो, या तुम बिल गेट्स क्यों नहीं तुम बिल गेट्स हो, तुमको तो भगवान ने सब कुछ दिया है, हाथ पैर नाक वाक जो बिल गेट्स को दिया है, तुम क्यों मल्टी बिलियनर नहीं हो, क्यों तुमने विंडोज नहीं बनाया? ऐसा क्वेश्चन आपको पूछेगा तो चलेगा क्या? नहीं चलेगा ना. Same applies here. But people are just refusing to go beyond it. They totally valorize all these things. They feel that ये हम 2 सेकंड भी सोचते नहीं है कि अगर हमारी बीवी हमें बोल दे तुम बिल गेट्स क्यों नहीं है, तुमने क्या उखाड़ लिया, तुम्हारे अच्छे नाक कान ये सब है तो बाल सब है तो हाथ पैर सब सही सलामत है, आपने क्या उखाड़ लिया, बताइए मुझे. हाँ? तो ये हम सोचते नहीं है. Just take a look at this video. अच्छा ये ऑडिबल है क्या, देखिए. ऑडिबल है क्या कविता? कविता, was it audible?
Yes, yes.
Good morning, Bob.
Morning there, big man. Morning, Alice!
There's no need to be awkward.
Poor Bob. Like so many of us, he just doesn't know how to interact with people with disabilities.
It's pretty easy, really. People with disabilities are people first.
We need the same things that every person needs, like respect.
Good morning, everyone.
Attention! Okay. Maybe we need to be more specific.
The easiest way to show respect is to focus on the person, not the disability. It's okay. You'll get the hang of it.
One easy way to focus on the person is to watch the person signing and not their interpreter.
Or their companion.
It's really cool that you'd like to help, but do us both a favor and please ask me first. What you think might be helping? I got you. Wait, ah! Oh no, might actually not. If you'd like to offer me help, let me hold on to your elbow. Don't take mine.
Hey, would you like to take my arm?
Sure.
Assistive devices help us to live our lives. They're really important and really personal.
Grabbing them only makes it weird for everyone.
What? Please only touch our devices and service animals if we've given you permission. And don't take it personally if I ask you not to. Remember that my service animal helps me all the time. Neither of us would like it if we were separated.
Remember, we make our own decisions. We sign documents, vote, volunteer, work, and pay taxes.
We get married.
So don't address me just because I have a great smile.
Just because I'm blind does not mean I'm deaf.
No, I think he said he was gonna come. Just because I'm deaf doesn't mean I'm blind.
And just because I use a wheelchair doesn't mean that I can't sweep you off your feet.
So take a deep breath. Relax. We don't bite.
Unless we're really hungry.
Hello there, ladies. How are you?
Hello. And if you're not sure what to do, just ask.
Hi. Would you still like to see a menu?
No thanks, but can you please read it to me?
Sure, definitely.
Just treat us the way you would want to be treated, and we'll all be okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Alice.
Right.
Awkward no more. Nice job, Bob. Go forth and be human.
Nice.
Yes, nice. So can you, has the full screen gone? Can you still see the full screen?
No,
Hello?
it is not in the presentation mode.
Acha, acha. Oh, I'm just trying it to be in the present. What happened? Okay. Is it okay now? Full screen, right? Now? Everybody. It is full screen now?
Yes, yes.
Acha. So we have seen unconscious bias and we have seen microaggressions. So now, obviously, allyship is extremely important for inclusion, right? What is allyship and how is it that you can be a better ally? What is it that you can do in your organization to make sure that inclusion happens? Allyship actually means actively supporting your colleagues. It is not about saving somebody, but you're supposed to stand with them, to be with them. If you look at this picture, I've written here privilege of power. You might say that, "Arey, kaun sa power, kaisa power? I'm just an average Joe." What is it that you're saying about this privilege of power? See, we are privileged in many ways. We just don't have gratitude for it. So if you just look at all these parameters here, it could be just be simple age and experience. If I am of a certain age, I'm in my 30s or 40s, and having 15, 20 years of experience, that gives me a certain amount of privilege and power. If I am from Mumbai, Delhi, various metros, it automatically gives me an edge over so many of my compatriots across the country, right? If I belong to certain castes, immediate help. Certain religions, again, very beneficial. If I'm proficient in English, now you might say, there are some hypocrites who might say that it doesn't matter. हिंदी में भी बात करके आप बहुत आगे जा सकते हैं. We are now a different country altogether, etc. And blah and blah. The fact is, across our country, if you have certain proficiency in English, that will 100% open many doors for you. So, a proficiency in English is also a certain kind of power that you hold. Gender. So again, if you belong to a wrong gender, powers get stripped away from you. A job title and seniority, I always say, and in fact, this is not just me, it has been acknowledged that DEI or the inclusion, it begins right from the top. It flows down from the top. It is a top to bottom phenomenon. But then we at the bottom should also do our best to uphold it. Should not always wait for CXOs जाग जाएंगे और काम करेंगे. Let me tell you, it takes time for them. And why is it that they take so much time? Even if, see, there are so many organizations that I have watched who are CEOs and MDs of these large international companies, and they have DEI charters which comes right from the top, even more up. Some charters are coming from Germany, some are coming from UK, some very few of them are now coming from US, yeah, but many of them are still there from Europe. The charters are already there. Lot of effort has gone into making them. Lot of effort has gone into creating them. But when it comes to India, it's a tick in the box for the entire organization. And why is that so? That is so because the people at the top, the CXO, the directors, the main people, the key people at the top, they have this unconscious bias. And because they're of a certain age, I'm not talking this as somebody with age bias, but then I am 50 years plus myself, and I know how much I have struggled with my own biases. And this, despite being self-aware of my own bias. So these are the people who think only of Dhando first, and everything else is an impediment. So these impediments, they do not look at it lightly. And then these biases जो कूट के भरे हुए हैं उनको निकालना बहुत मुश्किल है. Though they might make all the correct noises, the fact is they are only noises and ticking the boxes. It doesn't really they are not true allies. Because if they were so, what I told you initially about out of 150 will be LGBTQ, at least 2-3 would be disabled. You would be seeing it because for last 10-12 years, DA has been there. Government has made many number of laws, but you still don't see it happening. So there's a reason for that. This allyship comes with this, that there's this privilege of power. So if you are in this privilege of power, you can definitely be a great ally. So how is it that you're going to do it? So there are 3 different types. One would be at an individual level. Say, for example, I'm Pallavi, and I want to make sure I'm a chota mota person in the company. I'm a great proponent of DEI, and I want to make a change. So what is it that you're going to focus on? Pallavi will be looking at her own biases first. Self-awareness is a great key. Please be honest about your own biases. So today, for example, you must have learned about so many new biases. थोड़ा घर पे जाके थोड़ा होमवर्क कर लो कि भाई इसमें से कितने bias मेरे पास है. And no need to tell this to anybody. It's a self-reflection exercise, self-awareness exercise for me, myself. Yeah. Once I realize, yeah, these are the biases, you recognize them. And then you start using inclusive language. What do you mean by inclusive language? Please use correct gender pronouns. So many places again, just a few months back, I was again at a this DEI council training, okay? The DEI council was getting trained and there was these people and the DEI head was there and the CFO was there and there was a fight. Fight was that the CFO told this DEI head that you first decide what pronoun I should be telling. Today you are he, tomorrow you are she, and then you are they. I get very confused. I learn different things in grammar. So please, you only make sure what it is, and then you can inform us. तुमको क्या नाम से बुलाओ? बहुत हमको तकलीफ होता है. This is right in front of me, right? So kindly use inclusive language instead of saying ladies and gentlemen. Every time I fly Indigo, I wince at this. तो हो जाता है ना लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स बीच में और कोई है नहीं क्या अरे बाकी भी तो बहुत सारे लोग हैं बीच में तो सिंपल बात है यू जस्ट कॉल देम फोक्स गुड पीपल माय पीपल और पीपल so simple inclusive language will take you a long way and of course educate yourself education is important by education I am not saying read a lot of books of course you can read a lot of books reading books will only take you so much but by educating, I mean, if you're going to a new place, if you're meeting new people, you see, biases are thoughts when you don't know that person. Once you know the person, once you know the region, once you know the food, once you know language, the bias goes away, right? So once you know, so please educate yourselves about different types of people. If you're traveling, please go ahead, eat the food, mingle with the locals, see their culture, and you will see that some of your biases going away. So that is something that you can do on your personal level. What is interpersonal allyship? So interpersonal allyship would basically be that the focus here would be on speak up culture. Please speak up, give a direct support. So what is it and how is it that they're going to be doing? So because see, we talked about microaggressions. So please make sure that if somebody is indulging in this microaggression, just tell them, yaar, ye acha nahi lag raha hai sunne ke liye. Stop it. Stop making such statements. Or amplify the voice of the person who is right next to you, who needs the voice to be amplified. Give them support. Please check in with them. See if they are doing fine. Don't overdo things, but then there is something called a structural allyship. What is that structural allyship? Now, structural allyship starts right from the top. There has to be change in policy and there has to be a system change, right? So, your advocacy is very important. And some organizations are definitely doing excellent advocacy. And as a result, we have seen some great laws. What laws are there? We'll just see quickly in a couple of minutes. So there has to be, this push for normalizing diversity, push for making the infrastructure proper. So if you observe something, just again, I think a couple of weeks back, I had written an article about how good are our metros. When it comes to our metro systems, how many of them are accessible for disabled people? You talk about, yes, I want to hire disabled people. So some people definitely will be able to reach office with some effort, yes. What about people in wheelchair? How is it that they reach an office, reach some office? If I stay in Vashi, even if my office is in, say, Mankhurd, how do I go there? It's only one station away. If I go by a cab every day or a rickshaw every day, it will cost me 400 rupees to and fro. Most likely my job will not be of that amount. Spending 400 rupees every day on a auto is not my cup of tea. Can I go by train? I can try going by train. But Vashi station doesn't have any ramps, no lifts. Again, when the train comes, there's this much gap. Mind the gap, mind the gap. वो भी नहीं बोलते. So I need somebody to come along with me. One attendant. Can I afford the attendant? Attendant has to be from the family. Right. So government has done few things, but again, there are no systemic norms for infrastructure. So infrastructure mein there are these ISOs for infrastructure. I don't remember ISO 251 क्या है वो Kavita? What is that ISO standard for architectural inclusion? You're there.
Kavita,
yeah.
Kavita, I think she just left because she's taking the cab.
Okay.
She was in the university, so
okay. Yeah, it's not easy to get a cab from there. Okay, so there is this, and then there's also America Disability Act. So they also have really great norms for inclusion, disability inclusion, and that is something which is usually international norm. Okay, and then also we have the web content advisory also, right? So that is also available, but then our country does not have any such policy which says that ये ऐसा होना चाहिए, ये वैसा होना चाहिए. So you must have observed that there are ramps, but the ramps are of different gradients. For example, if I go to this SBI bank, which is very close to me, it has a ramp. वो ramp ऐसा है. I don't know. It is very difficult for me myself to go up there. I have no idea how people go using that ramp. Disabled people. Super difficult. So a lot of money gets spent, but then benefit कुछ नहीं है. So structural allyship में you can be an ally from the top itself. Make sure that you become an advocate for these kind of changes. See, you might think, how is that ramp going to benefit me? I don't give a damn about disabled. But देखो भाई, हम भी कभी बूढ़े होने वाले हैं. Huh? There are people, women with prams. So ramps help everyone. It makes even old people very comfortable. They can become more independent. Think of it from that point of view. सोच बदलो देश बदलेगा. हमें थोड़ा सोच बदलने की जरूरत है. So as we saw, there are three different types of allyships, right? Individual allyship, interpersonal allyship, and structural allyship. Allyship क्या नहीं होता है? How is it that you don't become an ally? So देखो कभी-कभी there are some organizations which say that, oh, we are great for disabled people. ठीक है, किस तरह के disabled लोग आपने hire किए हैं? तो अरे look at our ads. There's one particular organization which has a number of ads put up on their website which says that we are great for disabled, etc., etc. So 5% disability है ना, उतने लोग को ही लेते हैं. Simple. से ज़्यादा हम नहीं लेते हैं. 10% max. और invisible disability is even better. थोड़ा कम तकलीफ हमको. This is the kind. So easy peasy चीज हमको करनी है. And for that we expect a lot of praise. Please put me on pedestal for that. Please हमें हार दो, हमें नारियल दो इसके लिए कि हम great allies है. for disabled people. We are doing such amazing work. Please हमें वो नारियल वारियल दो क्या श्रीफल वगैरह दो हमारा सत्कार करो please उसके लिए. People expect all these things, So this is self-centered inclusion. You're not really caring about others. You were just looking after what accolades I'm going to get out of this. So make sure that you're not that kind of an ally. We have ample number of such allies. So then, what are the kind of laws that govern DEI in India? The one is Equal Remuneration Act 1976. Unfortunately, despite that, we have the second worst pay gap in the world between men and women. Then you have Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention Act 1989. Again, not really, there are a lot of cases, but hardly any cases are actually, they don't end up in conviction most of the time. Then you have Maternity Benefit Act 2017. Right of Persons with Disabilities, RPWT Act 2016. One salient feature is that it gives 4% reservation to disabled people in government jobs. Unfortunately, most disabled people don't even know about it, or it is just so difficult to reach these places and these positions that it is just like, it is on the paper basically, just like most things are in our country. Then there's, of course, POSH Act 2013. Then there's Transgender Persons Act and Rules 2019, HIV Act 2022. So these are the laws that govern DEI in India. And when it comes to RPWD 2016 Act, so 4 key points are that a reasonable accommodation should be given. So organization must provide necessary workplace adjustments. Tools hai, software hai, devices hai, flexibility policies hai, without undue burden. That is one great thing. Second is barrier-free access. So there has to be organizations to need to make sure that they have greater physical and digital accessibility. Buildings ठीक होना चाहिए, transport बराबर होना चाहिए, website readable होना चाहिए, communication formats must be inclusive, etc., etc. Then, of course, I talked about 4% reservation, right? And number one is that you should be an equal opportunity employer. There should be no discrimination in hiring, promoting, etc. on the basis of disabilities. This is what the RPWD Act says. Are RPWD people, are RPWD people very happy with it? No, they say it is still a work in progress, but yeah, the start has been done. Okay, so thank you so much for attending the session. Any questions? I'll take them up now.
Yeah, participant, any questions that you have?
Yeah.
Pallavi madam, my question was, of course, yes, we've been talking a lot about DI. What do you think, in India, is it, what the way we have been attending the conferences, we have been, so many things are going in and around. Is it happening the same pace, or what is that we are, India is missing in this? Because I truly believe that if you include more and more, perhaps some in what I can say, the employee with this DEI would be more efficient than the normal like person with no disability.
Yeah.
So this has also been seen. So what do you think, what is India missing over here?
India
Or the Indian
is
corporates, and is the Indian corporates.
Indian corporates are missing intent. That is what is missing. Let me tell you, Matthew. So it always boils down to budgets. Budget नहीं है सब करने के लिए. Training के लिए भी budget नहीं है. Some organizations are doing it. I'm not saying that some organizations are not doing it. Some organizations are definitely doing it. Maybe it is because of these acts. See, many of the things are because of the act also, but also there are some progressive organizations. For example, one of our clients, Henkel, it has paternity leave also along with maternity leave. They not only give 6 months paid leave to their to the mothers, new mothers, but they also give 2 weeks of paternity leave to the fathers. देते हैं. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं होता है, but the noise is huge.
Actually.
Events में you see all these people now who talk about all these things. Noise is huge. On the ground, not so much. In head offices, maybe more. In actual manufacturing sector, things are abysmal. Abysmal in the sense that, forgive me, I'm not even talking about PWDs here. I'm talking about just gender. If you look at just women, so women are all sudden 50%, right? If you look at women, average is 12% women, number of women working, okay, in manufacturing sector. And out of this 12%, I would say 11.9% is in the head office jobs basically. So उसके beyond नहीं है. And then BFSI sector may you can see better representation, of course. You will see 20% upwards, 20, 25, 30%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I said, a lot of noise.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree with you. Is there any question from other participants? You can type down the question if your mic is. 1 second. Let me just see. Any other question?
Yeah, I don't see any questions.
Anil, Nina, any question you have?
Yeah, hello. Just firstly, very nice presentation, and the whole subject has been put forward in a way which is raising many concerns, and we know that there is a lot to be done. So here you mentioned about empathy and allyship. So in general, what we see, as you mentioned, even at the local railway platforms and all, there are lifts, but these lifts are meant for the benefit of, say, elderly people or disabled people and all that. But everywhere we find that able people are rushing to the lifts and making use of it, and the person for whom this facility has been provided, they are left out. They have to wait for their turn. This is the scenario. So in such case, what I think is, as you have mentioned, biases and all that, so that is concerned with our culture. So everywhere in industry also we say that we have to build up a better culture. So here, empathy and allyship needs to be built up or developed in every individual at all levels, not only at the place, but right from the home to the throughout the community interaction and workplace everywhere. So what do you suggest? What needs to be done, or how we can push this requirement to be, seen in practice? Thank you.
Yeah. So Anilji, is a great question. He'll tell you what, ultimately it's all about culture. And culture takes a lot of time to change. We are like this because of certain reasons. One reason is that, see, we are a nation of 140 billion people. We are in a rush. We have to reach some place, sometime. We talk about Vasudeva Kutumbakam and all these things, all big words. We have a lot of, we give, basically we pat our backs a lot, है ना? हम बहुत अच्छे लोग हैं, हम बहुत बढ़िया लोग हैं, हम great लोग हैं. these things are there. We think about us in these in those terms. The fact is, because we are so many people, because life is so competitive right from childhood. Look at our children, how much they are studying, how much competition is there, how much dog eat dog is there. Because of this ultra competitiveness, we have lost our empathy. We don't have any feelings towards others. Whatever empathy was left has been taken away by social media. People are too busy on it. Yeah, they're too busy liking things, cats and dogs, and whatever pictures that they're liking, beautiful dances. They're living their life in that virtual world rather than in real life. They want to escape the real world. So one way, what I feel, one way would be the push has to be from the government. The push has to be from the very top. I would think that if you remember when we were young, there was this "Hum Do Hamare Do" campaign. If you remember, do you remember the kind of push which was given by the government? Huge, right? It was literally there everywhere, on TV, on billboards, and then here we are. We have reached "Hum Do Hamare Do." Like my grandmother, she had 10 children. My mother was the youngest. I had 2 children. I have one child. Sorry, my mother had 2 children. Look at the impact which was made because of government. So I feel that if government gets very serious about it, when I say very serious, really very serious about it, I think things will change. But I do not see that happening. So they have a lot of laws have been made. A lot of money has been spent on infrastructure. बहुत पैसा खर्च कर रहे हैं वो लोग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में, ऐसे नहीं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं. But there are no guidelines. No proper training has been given to these government employees who are spending so much money. So when you have these banks which are on the ground floor, they have ramp. For what purpose? क्यों आपने ये रैम्प बनाया है? बस रैम्प बना के रखा हुआ है क्योंकि बोला गया है रैम्प बनाना है. Money has been wasted, no? And if this PhDs are spending, then that is taxpayers' money. So a lot of money. Again, you talked about lifts. Lifts are there. Look at metro. Metro has lifts, etc. Mumbai Metro. But then when you actually get down, say suppose you're a person with disability, you use that metro, you use that lift when you get your chance, and you actually come down, even if you're old. How easy is it for you to get any vehicle? Everything is there. See, downstairs there are a lot of cracked footpaths. Even an able person will fall if he doesn't look down. मेरा एक ही कहना है, नीचे देख के चलो, कभी भी गिर सकते हो. बहुत खड्डे खुड्डे सब जगह पे. And this is a situation in Mumbai, financial capital of the country. Imagine how the condition is in tier 2, tier 3 villages where there is no thought. So again, as I said, the push has to be from the top. But I am seeing that there is a lot of rush in making a lot of laws. For example, if you look at this Maternity Amendment Act, that act is earlier 3 months leave was given, and now 6 months leave is given, fully paid. How do you think this has impacted hiring of women? So in 2005, the number of percentage of women working was 35% in organized sector. Now it has fallen drastically, 23%. Why do you think this has happened? Do you think it is easy for SMEs to give 6 months paid leave to women? They don't hire women. Simple. So that is one thing. Creches, if you are more than 50 people, you should have a creche. Again, how reasonable is it to expect? So many things which government should be doing themselves, they are pushing it on to the organizations. Already SMEs are beleaguered, they are not making profits. Then why would they be spending money on all these things? So they don't hire women. That is how the gender diversity is not happening. So if the government takes itself seriously and if it believes that it is a government of all, it will start doing. And it's not as if there's no money. They have money. पैसा है, खर्च करना है ठीक से, इंटेंट है, सिस्टमैटिकली करेंगे तो पैसा है, लेकिन इंटेंट नहीं है. I hope I have answered your question. Of course, I could be wrong and there could be other ways, but from what I am seeing in my immediate way, this is what I feel. think Shaktivelji, you also had a question, right?
Yeah, though there is one question which is done. How do we see the upbringing of an individual in our society, its impact on the psychology to unlearn the biases?
Superb question. See, upbringing of an individual in our society, very important. What is it that we are teaching our children? छोटे बच्चे को हम क्या सिखाते हैं? From very young age. See, this is where I think we differ from the Western societies. So right now, what things are
पहले से
happening?
डर बैठा देते हैं.
हाँ, देखो हम अभी हम ट्रम्प के इसमें हम लोग कुछ और ही देख रहे हैं. But I have lived abroad where I have observed that if a pregnant woman is walking, if she wants to cross the road, absolutely everybody will stop, even if there is no stop sign. सब लोग रुक जाएंगे, आप जाओ पहले. अपने यहाँ पे क्या होता है, जब हम आते हैं लोग अपना स्पीड बढ़ा लेते हैं, राइट, रिड्यूस नहीं करते हैं. मुझे पहले जाने दे, तू पीछे जा. Pedestrians have the last right. So yes, it does depend on how we bring up our children. As I said, everything is stemming because we are a huge population. Huge population है, huge competition है, empathy कम है. We ourselves are so biased as you know, as we are growing up, because we are watching such kind of ads. We watch those Fair and Lovely का ads देख के हम बड़े हुए हैं. अभी उसको Glow and Lovely बोलते हैं. And now earlier it used to be only for women. Now men are also facing the brunt. They also have to look gora gora. It's not just the girls, right? So life has become difficult for them also. So yes, somewhere along the line, I feel that we as a society are not getting better. And if we actually objectively look at ourselves, I think we'll change. But that objectivity is missing. And if we say these things, see, like we are all erudite people are sitting here, we discuss all this, and we can discuss it objectively. But now tell me honestly, if you're on some uncle auntie group or say WhatsApp group for family only, and if I make such statements, people will just pounce on me. They'll say, why Pallavi are you saying such things about Indians? Do you not know Indians are amazing people? हम लोग बहुत जबरदस्त लोग हैं, हम जैसे लोग कोई है ही नहीं है दुनिया में. तो लोग, तुमको नहीं पता हम कितना आगे चले गए हैं, हम सबसे इंटेलिजेंट लोग हैं, हम सबसे ज्यादा साइंटिफिक लोग हैं, हम सबसे ज्यादा ट्रेडिशनल लोग हैं, हम सबसे ज्यादा ये लोग हैं, हम सबसे ज्यादा वो लोग हैं. All these things you will get. So then, how is it that that scientific outlook we are going to get, or the empathetic outlook we are going to get? तो अभी करंट पॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन में तो मुझे बहुत ही होता हुआ नहीं दिख रहा है. पता नहीं, maybe things will change. Maybe we as people we will probably spread the story, tell more people कि भाई चलो we will change a little bit more, right? And I think it will happen maybe. But yeah, it has to start from home. As I said, एकदम बचपन से ही शुरू हो जाता है सब चीज. Need to start from home. Yes, starts there.
Good. Any other question?
Yeah, are there any other questions?
So before I can just give the vote of thanks to Pallavi Madam. See, I just wanted to share a quick thing today that has happened with me. I was there in my I was gone to meet my MD, where there was there is Sense India. There is an Sense India International. It is a body which helps the complete blind and deaf people to like to teach them, because to teach a deaf and blind, it is completely different ball game, and that level work no one does in India. So there is they have started initially, and now they are in a quite a good control, where they are work now in 23 states. So I asked the question to them, why don't you get enough CSR funds? So he's saying, see, corporates always wants a big number, and you have given 10,000 people this, 10,000 people that. But when we say about the spending for this type of people, the human resource cost becomes more, whereas the number of beneficiaries is very less. So that's the reason corporate is not wanted to get into it. So as you said, the noise is more, but no one wants to pitch into that kind of DI where people actually go and solve the problem at the ground level. So I think this is something which is there and by and large, but we all are talking about it as you correctly said, Pallavi madam. But lot need to be done. So there are very few organizations, he said, that who comes forward and who doesn't bother about the numbers, but they, like are really thoughtful about, what we can do best for this category of people.
A lot
So
of CSR actually goes down the drain, no?
yeah. So
Look
I
at,
think,
look at the amount of money.
Yeah.
We should actually be looking if that money is really getting spent properly. Imagine the change.
Absolutely,
बहुत कुछ हो
absolutely.
जाएगा, लेकिन वो नहीं हो रहा
Absolutely. So
है.
it is always said, the smaller the group, better the learning. I think it is a very focused group. Thank you so much, Pallavi madam.
Thanks.
And not only, like you have touched upon means in a generic thing, but so many different things which, I was actually not aware. And you have enlightened us really well in a
Thank
very
you.
simplified way, best possible, I think. So thank you so much, Pallavi
Thank
madam.
you.
And we will definitely look forward to, like hear you again.
Yeah,
Thank you
definitely.
so
Why
much.
not? Yeah.
So on
Thank you.
behalf of ISTD family, I would really want to thank you and all the
Thank you so
participants
much.
as well who has joined. Thank you so much. See you again.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, sure, definitely. Looking
See you.
forward, looking forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks a
madam.
lot.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Good night.
Yeah, bye bye. Yeah, bye.